everyone! In our first video I told you all about witch prickers and some of the things witches do, why people are afraid of witches, and some of the ways you can prove someone is a witch once you've caught them. But what if you don't want to be afflicted by a witch in the first place? You need a witch bottle. And with Halloween coming up, I'm going to show you how you can make one yourselves with things you've got lying around the house. Although some of it might have to take a couple of hours to, but we'll get to that. So, what are witch bottles? Well, as the name suggests, they're a bottle that are found buried in the ground or within the walls of a house, and they contain pins, needles, nails, sharp objects, things like that. And they also have one peculiar ingredient: wee, urine. Because of course, this is a history show, and history is all about wee, poo, and awful things like that. Now, there's an account from the year 1671 by a doctor by the name of Joseph Blagrave, who describes what to do if you're afflicted by a witch. Another way is to stop up the urine of the patient close up in a bottle and put into it 3 nails, pins or needles with a little white salt, keeping the urine always warm. If you let it remain long in the bottle, it will endanger the witch's life, for I have found by experience that they will be grievously tormented, making their water with great difficulty, if any at all. So, how does it work? I say work. This is what is known as sympathetic magic. If something looks or feels or sounds like something else, they must be magically connected. So, this bottle with your urine in it is like your bladder, and you are magically connected to it. And the witch who is trying to cast a spell on you is magically connected to you, and therefore magically connected to your bottle bladder. Now, if you fill this with pins, needles, sharp objects, the witch's bladder, which is magically connected to your bladder, will be full of pins as well, and start to hurt the witch. Now this sounds ridiculous, because it is, but as we say, people took this deadly seriously. Okay, and now I'm going to show you how you can make your very own witch bottle. Now, obviously, you need a bottle. Quite a lot of the ones found in archaeological contexts are something like these, what's known as a Bartman jug, with a very attractive bearded face on the side. Now, just because it's one of these doesn't mean it's a witch bottle. These were just a very popular style of bottle at the time. So you can use any bottle you have lying around. So I've got this lovely one here. Then, of course, you need the urine. Although I understand if you're quite squeamish about this sort of thing, you can use wine or vinegar or something like that. Lovely. Then, a pinch of salt. And finally, 3 nails. It's very important, apparently, that you put them in the bottle with the points facing down. Then, you seal up the bottle, and then you place it somewhere warm and leave it there. Now, there are numerous archaeological finds of witch bottles all over the British Isles, found in hearths and fireplaces and walls, but there are also many written accounts of witch bottles being made and used. As I said, there's the one from Dr. Blagrave from 1671. About 10 years later, there's an account of a man whose wife was being bewitched by an evil sprite, and he cured her illness by burying a bottle of her urine full of nails in the hearth of their fireplace. In 1672, an innkeeper's daughter was relieved of being possessed by a spirit through the use of a witch bottle. In 1804, a man was killed by a witch bottle exploding and the shards hitting him. As late as 1939, witch bottles appear in Norfolk folklore, and they've even found on the Thames a witch bottle containing a coin from 1982, so at least well into the modern age. Now, I just want you to consider a few things before we leave you today. Think of Dr. Blagrave's account. Dr. Blagrave's account. This isn't some peasant superstition by people living in mud huts. This was an educated man of medicine who came up and wrote about a recipe for a witch bottle. Because in a more superstitious era, being able to cure magical illnesses is just as much a part of medicine as treating gout or the plague, which he also writes about, but I wouldn't want to try those cures either. Also consider 1671. This is the eve of the Enlightenment. Newton is working on his principles of gravity around this time. And also consider that account from Norfolk from 1939. Again, at the start of the Second World War, an era of tanks and machine guns and radio, and also antibiotics and modern medicine. But people were still putting their trust in things like this. So, if you're affected by a witch this Halloween, think of the witch bottle. Happy Halloween, everyone.